Once upon a time, in a land far, far away. Wait, scratch that. That's too cliche. This isn't your usual hunky-dory fairy tale. We have murder, we have adultery, and we have lots of family drama. The unusual kind, too. Let's start by introducing our unconventional family. Let's start with Tyro, who's a Thessalian princess. Poseidon seduced her in the guise of a river god, and she bore him 2 sons, one of them being Peleus. Tyro's father then married her to his brother Croesus, king of Iolcus, and she bore him 3 sons, one of them being Aeson, who then had the handsome Jason. Upon reaching manhood, the sons of Poseidon returned to their mother, and Peleus specifically seized control of his uncle's Croesus' kingdom. To make a long story short, Jason should be the legitimate heir to the throne. However, Poseidon's son Peleus ends up being the king. Yes, what a douche of an uncle. Jason's parents fear for his life as they see this occur, and he is smuggled out of the country. But upon reaching adulthood, he leaves his educator Chiron, who happens to be a centaur, and returns to his hometown Icolus, demanding his wicked uncle return the throne to him. King Peleus had only just been informed by an oracle that if a man wearing only 1 sandal arrives, Peleus' death will be soon. Of course, Jason arrived in 1 sandal, and Peleus feared for his life. In an attempt to rid of Jason once and for all, King Peleus assigns him with a task. You must sail to the faraway land of Colchis and retrieve me the golden fleece if you are to be granted king. Jason accepts the task and gathers some men to accompany him on his travels, naming themselves Jason and the Argonauts. Which sounds like a modern-day boy band, don't you think? Jason and the Argonauts begin their lengthy voyage across the Black Sea. Let us fast forward the fillers, but Jason and the Argonauts essentially visited many islands before reaching their final destination. From Lemnos to Doildones, Chios to Babrisus, Bosporus to the Simple Glades. They also visited the land of the Amazons, where dazzling women resided, uninterested in male counterparts. The land Mosinoikoi, where people made love in public, and the island of the Birds of Airs, a hot spot for bird attacks. But despite all this, they continued to stay en route. Eventually, Jason and his crew see a damaged ship sailing towards them. Being the good heroes they are, they save the folks on board before the boat sinks. Well, turns out the sons of Pheroxus were aboard. Who is Pheroxus, you ask? Why, he is the guy who originally brought the golden fleece to the Colchians. The boys give Jason and the Argonauts some very bad news. A dragon is protecting the golden fleece. Psst. Even a dragon isn't enough to stop or scare Jason and the Argonauts, because soon enough, the golden fleece is nestled nicely in Jason's hand, and in the other, well, let's just say Jason got a girlfriend in the process of all this havoc. Medea, the daughter of King Aeetes. Upset that Jason manages to snatch not only the golden fleece, but also his daughter, King Aeetes begins to pursue the young man. But Medea, having been an experienced sorcerer, is prepared. With no remorse, she kills her brother, who conveniently is on board, and slices him into little pieces, dumping his remains overboard. King Aeetes is forced to stop and gather all of his son's remains in order to give him a proper send-off to the other world. Back then, people were obsessed with proper burials, and this was enough to keep Medea and Jason ahead of her father and be able to get away. They make one more stop at the island of Circe, where Medea and Jason become officially husband and wife, before finally embarking for their final destination. Before you know it, the crew is standing weary but victorious before the gates of Icolus. Jason carries the golden fleece into the city, ready to finally take his throne back from the evil Peleus. He hands the golden fleece to Peleus. However, while he was gone, his uncle had killed Jason's father, Aeson. Furious, he swears to inflict a terrible revenge against Peleus and asks Medea to help him. Medea convinces Peleus' daughters that she has an ability to restore their father's youth. She shows them that she's capable of bringing a dead ram that has been cut to pieces back to life as a lamb. The daughters, convinced with Medea's sorcery, murder Peleus, but it is revealed to be cruel trickery into getting Jason back to the throne. This doesn't last too long, as Jason is forced to leave Icolus, as the residents take no interest in having a sorceress like Medea as their queen. After all the vain effort to retrieve the golden fleece and regain his throne, Jason is forced to give up the kingdom to Acastus, son of Peleus, if he is to remain with Medea. Jason went into exile with Medea in Corinth, where he led a very uneventful life, a stark contrast to his previous adventures. But even the most righteous of men are swayed. Jason found himself wanting to marry another, the princess of Corinth, and of course, he does exactly that. Shocked by Jason's deceit, Medea takes her vengeance by murdering his new wife and even her own children in order to punish her former husband. She would not even allow him access to their bodies, and she tells him that she will convey them to the temple of Hera and bury them with her own hand to ensure that none of her enemies violate or insult their graves. Shortly after, she escapes to Athens, and Jason's once glorious life has ended in tragedy, and he lived sadly ever after.